The name of the game is getting our time back, and delegation is an absolutely huge part of that. We all know that already. The challenge with delegating is sometimes it can just take so long that we just want to say, I'm not going to delegate this. I'm not going to train anyone. I'm just going to do it myself. I know I've said that many, many times myself. The good news, I've got two bits of good news. I have an incredible framework for you to use and an AI tool to speed it up big time. Before we go there, it's important to know that some of the biggest drains of productivity and energy come from these areas. One, cost of changeover. If you delegate something, but they've got to ask you, and then you got to answer, and then they got to ask you, and then they got to answer you, and you got to, oh my goodness, you've got all this changeover. You keep getting interrupted. They keep getting interrupted. That's no good. So that's our first cost that we want to avoid is the cost of changeover, the ping pong effect. The second area that we want to avoid is what's called rework, cost of rework. That's when you hand something to a teammate and they're not asking you 500 questions. They're quietly working away, but they get to the end, they show you their work, and it's not done properly. So then you got to rework, you got to back up, fix it, do it all over again. That's no fun either. And when you got a lot of changeover and you got a lot of rework, at the end of the day, things get delayed. And so now you pay the third crippling cost, which is the delay of delivery. Now you got to ship things overnight if you're mailing a parcel or a letter. You got to pay overtime to staff to work into the evenings and weekends. You got to pay late fees with contractors. Oh man, it just goes on and on and on. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So about a decade ago, I invented a concept called 360 delegation. It's a framework that allows us to delegate anything we want much, much more quickly. Now, we're not going to do the long version. I'm going to show you the short version today. Nonetheless, I am going to show you just a little bit behind the scenes of what is inside of 360 delegation. So I'm going to head over to greatassistant.com/3 steps. That's the URL right there, greatassistant.com/3 steps. And we're going to skim past all this down to the step 3, which is 360 delegation. So you can really, really, really speed up how quickly you delegate things by just getting it right the first time. John Wooden, the famous UCLA coach, said, if you don't have the time to get it right now, then when are you going to find the time to do it over? So in a great delegation, there's always going to be 3 parts. There's going to be the vision of what we want done. What do we want done? Why are we doing it? What are the milestones along the way? Super pro tip, show a sample of success. Making a puzzle is much, much easier when we can show the box top. When you can see the box top, you know what you're working towards. And the exact same thing is true when it comes to delegation. If you want someone to send an invoice, show them what a past successful invoice looks like. If you want them to upload a podcast episode for you, show them what a successful past podcast looks like fully uploaded. Whatever it is you're looking to do, show them the box top of the puzzle. Show them a sample of success. And by showing them a sample of success, you avoid SOS, right? Now, the second item that we want to show is resources. Every single time your teammates are missing a resource, they cannot continue and they have to stop and ask you for help. If they're missing a username and password, they can't get into the tool. If they don't have your credit card, they can't make that purchase for you. If they don't have access to a teammate, they've never been introduced, tough to go do the thing if they don't know who they got to go talk to. If they don't have training on something, they got to stop you and ask for training. It just goes on and on and on and on. So this list right here helps you to prevent that kind of ping-ponging back and forth. So there's online access, there's access to team members, there's also, if you have a physical storage situation or physical building, there might be codes or keys. It goes on and on. The third thing in a really good delegation is going to be our definition of done. I can really shortcut this one and say it really comes down to what are called user stories. What is it that any of the users have to experience? So in the example we're going to use today, in just a moment, I'm going to show you booking a hotel room. So if my assistant is booking a hotel room for me, I'm the end user, and I want to be able to just go to my calendar. In my calendar, I want there to be an appointment there. That appointment is for my travel, and when I click on that appointment, I want to see a Google Doc, and in that Google Doc, I want to see my whole travel dossier in one place. This prevents me from having to log into like 5 different websites or 3 different apps, just trying to figure out, where am I going for this hotel room? That travel dossier, pro tip, is also where Event information can go if you're going to speak or if you're attending a conference. It can go into that travel dossier as well. Furthermore, your flight information can go in there as well. If there's any ground transportation details, can go in there as well. I could create a whole video, and I probably will at some point, about travel dossiers, but for now, we'll just go with the hotel part of it. Now, you are an end user, but actually, there might also be, your assistant might be an end user. You might also have maybe a travel partner who is an end user. So just think through who is going to be using this thing in the end. If you've got a travel partner, then maybe as the end user, they want to receive an email confirming all details are complete, because if that person is not they're your assistant but not your travel partner's assistant, they may not have the same confidence that you do in your EA. So when it comes to definition of done, we simply want to think through who are the end users and what do they have to experience to feel confident, to feel like this is handled. So that's the concept of 360 delegation, but I'm not going to make you go through every single one of these items every single time. You could if you wanted to. Go to greatassistant.com/3steps, and you can see behind the scenes. But I'm going to do you one better. Just a few years ago when ChatGPT came out, it completely changed the game on so much. That's not news. You and I both know that. What I did is I took that whole 360 delegation method that you just saw, and I found a way to create a custom GPT around it. And that custom GPT, we call it our 360D writer, because it helps us write a 360 delegation faster than ever. So that is 360dwriter.com, 360dwriter.com. I'm going to show you that on the screen here. I'll get back to my screen. What it looks like is this. So 360dwriter.com. And all I did is I just bought the domain name 360dwriter.com and I auto-forwarded it to my custom GPT that you see right here. So under the hood of this guy is that whole blog post that you saw about vision, resources, definition of done. So hold that thought. We're going to come back here in just a moment. Now, here's where things get super, super, super fun and interesting. Instead of having you write a full 360D, instead of you having to use the AI tool, we're actually just going to have you use Loom. You're going to use Loom. You're going to explain to your assistant how you want this hotel room booked. And then from there, I'm going to show you an incredible trick that will make your delegation so much more quick. Okay, so I'm going to fire up Loom now. Let's get this guy going. Let's make sure you can see my screen again. On the screen, I'm going to put hotels.com, so you can see that right there. I'm going to grab Loom for myself. You may not be able to see it right now, but we're going to capture screen 1. And we are going to go to the races. So here we go. Right now, I'm about to demo as if I was going to create a delegation to my assistant. And you're going to see exactly how you do it in 3, 2, and 1. And, oh, there it is, 3, 2, and 1. And here we go. Hey there. I'm hoping you can help me with booking a hotel. I'd like you to use hotels.com. I'd like you to make sure that we get all signed in here. And from there, we'll get intel right there. I'm signed in. Okay, looks like I'm going to need to authenticate. I will make sure that you have that, that you can click other ways to sign in. I'm going to do it with my cell phone. You don't have access to my cell phone, but hit other ways to sign in, put my email address. Obviously, you have access to my email inbox, and therefore you can get authenticated that way. So I'm going to put in today's one-time code here. It's going to bring me into hotels.com. From there, I am going to select the city that I want to go to. So I want to go home. I want to go to Edmonton, Canada, just like so. I'm going to go around the time of Thanksgiving. So I'm going to select let's say the 26th through the 30th, and I'm going to hit done. So you're going to want to select the date range. It's just me traveling solo on this one, so I'm going to go done just like that. I'm going to hit search. They're going to see the results are going to pop up, and we've got some different options here. One item that I want to sort for is I want to take a look at the price. I do not want to spend $4,000 per night, not in the budget. So we're going to bring that down. In fact, I'm going to bring that down even faster by just clicking here. Let's go $250 a night. And then on the minimum side, let's go $100 a night. And let's see what it gets us. Okay. So all I'm doing here is I'm simply selecting a price range, and that's helping me to narrow down the results into something that is a little quicker. Okay, so in this case, there's not much that really matches my filters. And if you take a look at it, it's not really the fit and finish that I'm going for. In fact, I believe that I can select a rating. So let's see if we can go in the guest rating section. I want you to select very good, so 8 or better. And let's see what comes up. Okay, I actually have no exact matches. So, okay, let's see what is available. And if you take a look right here, we can see the JW Marriott downtown is $278 a night, so that's very close. And the Fairmont Hotel McDonald is $290 a night. It looks like this Home 2 Suites by Hilton Edmonton South fell outside of our range because it's a little bit too inexpensive. It's at $94 a night. I'll tell you that in the $150 to $250 range, I'm actually fairly flexible. And location also really matters to me too. I want to be really close to downtown. So I just clicked on the map. Let's take a look on the map and see where these properties pop up. Again, the price range wasn't working. So let's bring this up to the 300 level and let's see what comes up downtown Edmonton. Okay, so I've hit done and we are going to zoom in a little bit, and looks like we should have a couple more options pop up. On the movable map, you click search this area and let's see if it pops up. You know, I was pretty sure that we saw something downtown Edmonton there. I thought the JW Marriott was available. So I'm not trusting this map. So I'm going to pop back out. We're going to change our filters. Actually, we're at 100 to 300, so we're good to go. And if I look at these two options between the JW and the Fairmont, they're pretty close in price. But let's take a look at this rating. JW Marriott is a 9.4, and the Fairmont Hotel McDonald is an 8.8. So let's select the highest rated. It says downtown, so we know that it's downtown. Clearly that map was not accurate. So we got the JW Marriott Edmonton Ice District. We know it's downtown. We know it's 9.4. It's just a little bit above my price range, but that's okay by me. So from there, you would go ahead and select a room. It's going to show you some options. I don't need any more fancy than I've already got because this is already a very, very nice hotel room. So let's just go with the simplest version of what they're showing us, that whatever that 270 some or 290 some was. So let's take a look here. Okay, 278 nightly. That one looks like a great option. I don't think there's anything else that's less expensive. There is not. So I'm going to click reserve on the 278 nightly. And at this point, I'm going to need to check out. Now, because at the original, a few minutes ago, you did log in as me, you're going to see that my information is pre-populated, which is great. And then from there, I'd like you to log in, pay using my American Express ending in 1000, which you already have access to, and that is inside of 1Password. If you think about 1Password, you'll know that that's where you'll get the login information for hotels.com. Plus, my credit card is also a secure note in there, so that will get the trick done for you there. Once you have gotten the hotel room fully secured, I would like you to come to a Google Doc, and I'd like you to create a travel dossier for a trip to Edmonton, Canada, Thanksgiving 2025. Bing, bang, boom. There it is, just like that. And from there, you will begin to travel dossier. We want travel dossier. Okay. Okay. Now I won't go into the whole how we create these, but you're going to start putting screenshots and details of my trip to Edmonton into this document right here. I'll take this document, I'll go into my Google Calendar, and the task is complete. Hit me up on Slack once that is complete. So that gives me peace of mind that the task is all done and ready to go. Thank you so much for taking care of this. Okay, so role play is now over. In Loom, you can see now that the video is kind of being transcribed, if you will. So I'm going to call this 360D, booking hotel room, just like so. I'll put today's date. I always put the date at the end so that I know when I've created this item. And here is the super trick of the century that I'm so incredibly excited to be sharing with you. In Loom, about a year and a half ago, they started adding this feature right here, where you can actually click transcript, and it has the entire transcript of the Loom video you just created, and this is a game changer. So I'm simply going to copy the transcript there. Remember our 360D writer right there. We're going to come over here. We're going to paste it in just like so. That is our whole transcript from how we described our booking of the hotel room. I'm going to hit go, and it is now going to start writing a 360 delegation for me. Now, if you recall, I showed you that blog post, what a good 360D should have. Remember, there's 3 parts: vision, resources, definition of done. Well, check this out. That 360D writer, it took our transcript and it created exactly that. It created vision, resources, definition of done. Now, it's probably guessing at a few things, and there's also probably a few details I forgot to include. So all I need to do at this point is go back and forth with the 360D writer, the ChatGPT custom GPT, to fill in any blanks. So as I read here, I'm saying, okay, we're booking a hotel in downtown Edmonton via hotels.com for a solo trip. Amazing. It got all of that absolutely on point. Now it's saying hotel booking complete, and it's like, I don't really know. Is it today? Is it ASAP? So that's going to be something I'm going to want to add. So I'm going to say hotel booking needs to be complete within 48 hours. Now, before I hit enter, I'm actually going to hit shift enter, so it just bumps me down a line here without processing the whole GPT again. Okay, it's saying travel dossier document created. So I'm just going to say travel dossier document created the same day that the hotel booking is completed. Okay, final drop dead deadline. Let's change that from Friday, September 20th to October the 1st. Okay. Now, in this video, I won't take the time to actually link a sample travel dossier, but you definitely want to link to a previous travel dossier. That is your sample success that you can show to your executive assistant. If you take a look at this, it's now getting to resources. It is telling us right here, hotels.com. Now, it's saying login via other ways to sign in because that's what happened during the training. So I'm going to change my instructions here as well. I'm going to say login information for hotels.com is found in 1Password. And when you go to log into hotels.com, if there is a second authentication that's required, just select email. So it sends the authentication code to my email inbox. You have access to my email inbox, and that way you can get in without needing my cell phone or my attention for me to check my cell phone for you. Okay, so I've just put that there. Man, it struggles with the word dossier, doesn't it? Okay, there we go, just like that. Okay, it also says you're gonna need Slack to notify me when it's complete. Google Calendar, you're gonna have to add the dossier to the event. You're gonna attach the final doc to a corresponding trip event. That's perfect. Here is the decision-making guidelines for the booking. So it's Edmonton, Canada. These are the dates. Here's the travelers. Here's the price range, the guest rating, et cetera, et cetera. Now, quick sidebar to say that I have I've done this in this demo today around a specific trip to a specific city at a specific time. It takes very little, though, to kind of like to make it more generic. So instead of saying it's always Edmonton, Canada, you can say, ask me for the city, and I'll tell you which city that you need to book for. Instead of saying it's always Thanksgiving 2025, you can just say, ask me what the date ranges are, and I'll tell you for the booking. So, you know, make this more generic if you like, and now this actually becomes like an SOP or a system. Actually, what it is a 360D, and you'll start stacking 360Ds into your Google Drive, and you'll see that you're now starting to get a playbook. Same is true if you keep your SOPs or 360Ds in Notion or in Trainual. Instead of putting them in Google Drive, just put them into your training platform and you're good to go. Okay, getting back to our 360D, let's take a look here at what the success criteria looks like. So we have a user story. As the traveler, I want to see a confirmed hotel booking in my inbox and a travel dossier I can refer to in Google Docs and Calendar so I can feel fully prepared for my Thanksgiving trip to Edmonton. As the assistant, who's a user, wants to clearly know the location, dates, booking criteria, and payment method so I can complete this task independently, accurately, and promptly. So let's change that a little bit because we know that we want our assistant to, in my case, always use the same credit card. So I'm going to say, under user stories for the assistant, no need to ask about payment method. We're always going to use the American Express ending in 1000. Okay, great. So now I'm going to hit enter. And now the 360D writer is actually going to rewrite the entire 360D, now updated with the new instruction that I have given. So you'll see that the updates get baked right in on the fly, which is really, really cool. And then after that, what you're also going to see is at the very, very end, the 360D writer is going to say, does this look good? Do you want help? Do you want me to ask you questions? And I'm going to do one more round so that you get to see that. Okay, so here's the new 360D. It's now saying, same information as before, except now it has caught the items that I wanted changed. For example, that within 48 hours of delegation. And then from there, the dossier created the same day as the hotel booking. And we now change the final drop dead deadline to this date right here. We know that it's the Amex ending in 1000. It's now cleaned up this whole information at hotels.com. It's now saying go look at 1Password. If 2FA or two-factor authentication is required, select email so that you can get to it, etc., etc., etc. So this is all looking wonderful, and it is coming along real, real nice. You can see even under the user stories, under as the assistant, it no longer asks for payment because it knows it's always going to be that Amex. Now, what I love here at the very bottom is it says, what's missing or inaccurate? If nothing comes to mind, would you like me to ask you a few questions to improve this 360D? Yes. So I'm going to say yes. I want it to ask me questions. Let's see what kind of questions it's got for me. Actually, maybe I just confused it. Oh, no, it picked up on that. Okay, good. All right, so I don't have to answer all these, but they're good prompts for me to just clarify things because every time I miss something in my delegation, there's a risk my assistant will have to stop what they're doing, ask me for help, interrupt me, which interrupts them, which then interrupts me, which interrupts them. That's no fun. So let's just take a look to see if there's anything here that, that we would like to add to the 360D. So number one, yes, I would like my assistant to create a new Google Calendar event if I have not already created one. Okay. Yes, I would like you, the assistant, to include a weather forecast and also include the check-in and check-out times in my travel dossier as well. Okay, question 3, backup hotel options. So that, look at that, it even proposed a plan B. This is so cool, so cool. Yes, if the JW Marriott is not available, then do go with the Fairmont Hotel McDonald. Okay. Then from there, do I want the booking confirmation forwarded? No, in my inbox is enough. No, I do not need the booking confirmation forwarded to me. If it's in the inbox, that's good enough. Now, all this is making me realize I didn't actually specify like a check-in time, a check-out time, if I need a fitness center or anything like that. So let's just add that as well. Whatever hotel you choose, I don't need a fitness center this time around. I do need high-speed Wi-Fi, and I do also need an early check-in by 3 p.m., and I'd like a late checkout by noon. If either of those aren't possible, not the end of the world. It's just nice to ask for it and get it if we can. Okay, so I'm going to hit go on that, and we're going to see that the 360D writer gets busy all over again, and it's going to add in all of the items that we have just included. And let's go take a look to see how it's doing. And let's now take a look, and we are going to see that we do need that high-speed Wi-Fi, so just added that. Way to go. And then also notes on the early check-in, late checkout requests as well. Okay, well, I think this thing is pretty much good to go now. I like here it even said prefer the JW Marriott, Fairmont Hotels the backup. So I can now actually turn this into a Google Doc or Trainual or Notion or wherever you're going to keep this. Personally, there's a couple ways I can do this. One is I can just hit the copy button right there. What I'll do is I will then create a new Google Doc. In that Google Doc, I will paste in these instructions. I'm going to pull over a Google Doc right now, just like so. I'm going to hit paste just like that. My 360D is all the way there. I don't need this first part. What I do want to do, though, is I want to make sure that I am kind of preparing this to get used again and again. So I'm going to call this 360D, booking a hotel room. I'll put today's date, which I always do, so that I always know the version I'm looking at. We're going to center that up just like so. And if you'd like, and you don't have to do this, in fact, you could even ask your assistant to do it for you, by actually using the pre-formatted style, so making this a heading 1, going down to resources, making that a heading 1. What that does, which is really nice, is it actually makes this left sidebar turn into a table of contents that your assistant could click through and make things go much more quickly. So definition of done, we want that to be a heading 1 as well, just like so. And now I have a pretty awesome 360D right here. So a couple last things to do is I now need to simply make sure that that file name is chosen. It will pull directly off the title here because you select the title here. It'll put title there. Then from there, I can hit share. I can go, in with the link. I can copy that link. And now that I've got that link, I can head over to Slack. I can head over to MS Teams, whatever your DM tool is, and you can DM your assistant and say, hey, wondering if you can book a hotel for me. Here's the 360D for it. For this one, I'd like to go to Edmonton or Chicago or New York. It's on these days or that day. And if there's any other special requests, you can put it in there. And now your assistant is ready to go. All in, if I think about just the time I spent creating the 360D using this method, the download your brain 10 times faster method, it probably took maybe 10 minutes. I'm telling you, this used to take something like an hour or 2. And because of that, most entrepreneurs, my former self included, we just wouldn't do it. Be like, why would I spend an hour trying to delegate this when I could literally just go book the dang hotel room myself? With this method though, it's like slightly slower than doing it yourself. But if you've properly selected a task that happens, once a month or every other week or something like that, oh my goodness, by the second time that your assistant takes this over, you are now in a major positive return on investment on your time invested. So all of this is part of what I teach. I highly encourage you to check out my socials here at Real Tim Francis on any of the socials. I also teach this inside of a program I called HP3. HP3 stands for high performance, high purpose, and high profit. In my life, if I've ever only had one of the 3 or 2 of the 3, I end up being really dissatisfied. So high purpose, high performance, high profit. We teach a lot of that. And if you want to learn more about learning our whole methodology, you can head over to gohp3.com and learn more about that there. Meantime, I am Tim Francis. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.